Someone kept waving at me from my apartment while I was inside. This happened last winter, and I still get chills thinking about it. I live alone in a small apartment on the third floor. Across from my building is another apartment complex, pretty close, close enough that you can see into people's windows if the lights are on. One evening, I got home from work, made dinner, and sat down on the couch. Out of habit, I glanced out the window. That's when I saw it. Someone in the opposite building was waving at me. At least, I thought they were waving at me. I awkwardly waved back, assuming it was someone being friendly or maybe someone who knew me. But something felt off. They didn't stop. They just kept waving. Slowly. Repeatedly. I laughed nervously and went back to my phone. A few minutes later, I looked up again. Still waving. Same motion, same pace. Just continuous. At this point, I stood up and moved closer to the window, trying to see their face more clearly. That's when my stomach dropped. They weren't looking at me. They were looking slightly past me, like behind me. I froze. Slowly, I turned around and scanned my apartment. Nothing. Just my living room, completely empty. I turned back to the window. They were still waving. But now, it felt different. Faster, more urgent. I immediately grabbed my keys and left my apartment, heart pounding. I didn't even bother turning off the lights. I went down to the street and looked up at my window. From outside, I could see my entire living room clearly. There was no one inside. I looked over at the other building again. The person was gone. I never saw them again. But for weeks after that, every time I walked into my apartment, I couldn't shake the feeling that if I looked at the window, someone might be waving again.